Edexcel A-Level Maths Statistics, October 2021, Question 2. Mark took a random sample of 16 students from a school and for each student recorded the number of letters X in their last name and the number of letters Y in their first name. His results are shown in the scatter diagram. For part A, we need to describe the correlation between X and Y. So looking at the scatter diagram, we can see that there's a rough pattern of crosses going from top left down to bottom right. Hence we have a negative correlation. It's not a strong one, but it is there, negative correlation. Mark suggests that parents with long last names tend to give their children shorter first names. So part B, using the scatter diagram, we need to comment on Mark's suggestion, giving a reason for the answer. So we've got this negative correlation where large Y's are with the smaller X's and vice versa. So we can say that Mark's suggestion is compatible because the correlation is negative. As one amount gets larger, the other amount gets smaller. The results from Mark's random sample of 16 observations are given in the table below. For part C, we need to use our calculator to find the product moment correlation coefficient between X and Y for these data. So to do this, these are the instructions for a Casio, but it'd be fairly similar for any other calculator you're using. We go to the statistics page. We click on the y equals a plus bx part because we're looking at correlation between y and x and a linear correlation. Fill in the table with the amounts given in the table here. So 3, 7, 6, 7, so on. Press the option button and then select regression calculation. This will then give us our R value, which is the product moment correlation coefficient of minus 0.545. For part D, we need to test whether or not there is evidence of a negative correlation between the number of letters in the last name and the number of letters in the first name, making sure that we state our hypotheses clearly and we use a 5% level of significance. So our hypotheses, we have our null hypothesis to start with, and this is that rho, our product moment correlation coefficient, is equal to 0. So this would be no correlation whatsoever. Our H1 is that rho is negative, because we're looking at a negative one here, hence smaller than 0. Now looking at what we've got here, we are dealing with product moment correlation coefficient. We've got a 5% level of significance. It's one-tailed because we're just going down the negative side. And our n, our number of observations, are the 16 that are given in the table. Using this, we're going to look at the table which will be given to us for our product moment coefficients. We've got the 5%, we've got the n equals 16. So looking in the 0.05 column, and the rho for n is 16, we get that 0.4259. So our critical value is plus or minus 0.4259. We're then going to compare our R to this. So our R of minus 0.545 is smaller than minus 0.4259. More importantly, it's further away from 0. It's more negative. So this is a significant result because it is more negative than the critical value. So we're going to reject the null hypothesis. At this point, we need to make sure we then refer back to what it is we're testing. So there is evidence of a negative correlation between number of letters in first and last names. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the Doing Maths channel to keep up to date with all the latest releases.